All right, we are going to begin on chapter 32 today. We are over halfway done with Despereaux. We will finish in just a few weeks. So let's get going. So chapter 32, Beware of the Rats. The candlelight on Mig's tray revealed Gregory limping toward her, the thick rope tied around his ankle, his hands outstretched. You, Gregory presumes, have brought food for the jailer? Gore, said Mig. She took a step backward. Give it here, said Gregory, and he took the tray from Mig and sat down on an overturned kettle that had rolled free from the tower. He balanced the tray on his knees and stared at the covered plate. Gregory assumes that today again there is no soup. Eh? Said Mig. Soup, shouted Gore. Illegal, shouted Mig back. Most foolish, muttered Gregory as he lifted the cover off the plate. Too foolish to be born a world without soup. He picked up a drumstick and put the whole of it in his mouth and chewed and swallowed. Here, said Mig, staring hard at him, you forgot the bones. Not forgotten, chewed. Gore, said Mig, staring at Gregory with respect. You eats the bones? You are most ferocious. Gregory ate another piece of chicken, a wing, bones and all, and then another. Mig watched him admiringly. Some day, she said, moved suddenly to tell her her deepest wish, I will be a princess. At this pronouncement, Chiaroscuro, who was still at Mig's side, did a small, deliberate jig of joy. In the light of one candle, his dancing shadow was large and fearsome indeed. Gregory sees you, said to the rat shadow. Roscuro ceased his dance. He moved to hide beneath Mig's skirts. Eh? Shouted Mig. What's that? Nothing, said Gregory. So you aim to be a princess? Well, everyone has a foolish dream. Gregory, for instance, dreams of a world where soup is legal, and that rat, Gregory is sure, has some foolish dream too. If only you knew, whispered Roscuro. What? Shouted Mig. Gregory said nothing more. Instead, he reached into his pocket and then held his napkin up to his face and sneezed into it once, twice, 3 times. Bless you, shouted Mig. Bless you, bless you. Back to the world of light, Gregory whispered, and then he balled the napkin up and placed it on his tray. Gregory is done, he said, and he held the tray out to Mig. Done, are you? Then the tray goes back upstairs. Cook says it must. You take the tray to the deep downs, you wait for the old man to eat, and then you bring the tray back. Them's my instructions. Did they instruct you, too, to beware of the rats? The what? The rats. What about 'em? Beware of them, shouted Gregory. Right, said Mig. Beware the rats. Roscuro, hidden beneath Mig's skirts, rubbed his front paws together. Warn her all you like, old man, he whispered. My hour has arrived. The time is now, and your rope must break. No nibbling this time, rather a serious chew that will break it in two. Yes, it is all coming clear. Revenge is at hand. Chapter 33. Mig had climbed the dungeon stairs and was preparing to open the door to the kitchen when the rat spoke to her. May I detain you for a moment? Mig looked to her left and then to her right. Down here, said the squirrel. Mig looked at the floor. Gore, she said, but you're a rat, ain't you? And didn't the old man just warn me of such? Beware the rats, he said. She held the tray up higher so that the light from the candle shone directly on Roscuro and the golden spoon on his head and the blood-red croak around his neck. There is no need to panic, not at all, said Roscuro. As he talked, he reached behind his back and, using the handle, he raised a soup spoon off his head, much in the manner of a man lifting his hat to a lady. Gore, said Mig, a rat with manners. Yes, said Roscuro. How do you do? My papa had him some cloth much like yours, Mr. Rat, said Mig. Red like that. He traded me for it. Ah, said Roscuro, and he smiled a large, knowing smile. Ah, did he really? That is a terrible story, a tragic story. Reader, if you will pardon me, we must pause for a moment to consider a great and unusual thing, a pretentious thing. That great, unusual, pretentious thing is this. Roscuro's voice was pitched perfectly to make its way through the tortuous path of Mig's broken-down cauliflowered ears. That is to say, dear reader, Misery so heard, perfect and true, every single word that the rat Roscuro uttered. You have known your share of tragedy, said Roscuro to Mig. Perhaps it is time for you to meet the acquaintance of triumph and glory. Triumph, said Mig. Glory? Allow me to introduce myself, said Risquiro. I am Chiaroscuro. Friends call me Risquiro. And your name is Misery So. And it is true, is it not, that most people call you simply Mig? Ain't that the thing, said Mig, a rat who knows my name. Miss Misery, my dear, I do not want to appear too forward so early in our acquaintance, but may I inquire, am I right in ascertaining that you have aspirations? What do you mean, aspirations? Shouted Mig. Miss Misery, there is no need, none at all, as you can hear me, so I can hear you. We are perfectly suited each to the other. Risquiro smiled again, displaying a mouthful of sharp yellow teeth. Aspirations, my dear, are those things that would make a serving girl wish to be a princess. Gore, agreed Mig, a princess is exactly what I want to be. There is, my dear, a way to make that happen. I believe that there is a way to make that dream come true. You mean that I could be the Princess P? Yes, your highness, said Risquiro, and he swept the spoon off his head and bowed deeply at his waist. Yes, your most royal Princess P. Gore, said Mig. May I tell you my plan? May I illustrate for you how we can make your dream of becoming a princess a reality? Yes, said Mig, yes. It begins, said Risquiro, with yours truly, and the chewing of a rope. Mig held the tray with the one small candle burning bright, and she listened as the rat went on, speaking directly to the wish in her heart. So passionately did Risquiro speak, and so intently did the serving girl listen, that neither noticed as the napkin on the tray moved. Nor did they hear the small mouse-like noises of disbelief and outrage that issued from the napkin as Risquiro went on unfolding step by step his diabolical plan to bring the princess to darkness. So that's the end of the third part. The fourth part of the book, Recall the Light, and we will read the first chapter. Chapter 34, Kill 'em, even if they's already dead. Reader, you did not forget about our small mouse, did you? Back to the light. That was what Gregory whispered to him when he wrapped Despereaux in his napkin and placed him on the tray. And then Mig, after her conversation with Risquiro, carried the tray away into the kitchen, and when she saw Cook, she shouted, "It's me, Misery So, back from the deep downs." "Ah, lovely," said Cook, "and ain't we all relieved?" Mig put the tray on the counter. "Here, here," said Cook, "your duties ain't done. You must clear it." "How's that?" shouted Mig. "You must clear the tray," shouted Cook. She reached over and took hold of the napkin and gave it a good shake, and Despereaux tumbled out of the napkin and landed right directly plop in a measuring cup full of oil. "Ah," said Cook, "a mouse in my kitchen, and my cooking oil in my measuring cup. You, Mig, kill him directly." Mig bent her head and looked at the mouse slowly sinking to the bottom of the glass cup. "Poor little Missy," she said, and she stuck her hand into the oil and pulled him out by his tail. Despereaux, gasping and coughing and blinking at the bright light, could have wept with joy at his rescue. But he was not given the time to cry. "Kill him," shouted Cook. "Gore," said Mig. "All right." Holding Despereaux by the tail, she went to get the kitchen knife. But the mouse tail, covered as it was in oil, was slick and difficult to hold on to, and Mig, in reaching for the knife, loosened her grip, and Despereaux fell to the floor. Mig looked down at the little bundle of brown fur. "Gore," she said. "That killed him for sure." "Kill him if he's already dead," shouted Cook. "That's my philosophy with mice. If they're alive, kill them. If they're dead, kill them. That way you can be certain of having yourself a dead mouse, which is the only kind of mouse to have." "That's some good sophisy, that is. Kill 'em, even if they's already dead." "Hurry, you cauliflower-eared fool," shouted Cook. "Hurry." Despereaux lifted his head from the floor. The afternoon sun was shining through the large kitchen window. He had time to think how miraculous the light was, and then it disappeared, and Mig's face loomed into view. She studied him, breathing through her mouth. "Little Missy," she said, "ain't you going to skedaddle?" Despereaux looked for a long moment into Meg's small, concerned eyes, and then there came a blinding flash and the sound of metal moving through the air as Meg brought the kitchen knife down, down, down. Despereaux felt a very intense pain in his hindquarters. He leapt up and into action. Reader, he scurried. He scurried like a professional mouse. He zigged to the left. He zigged to the right. "Gore!" shouted Meg. "Missed him." "Ain't that a surprise?" said Cook, just as Despereaux scurried under a crack in the pantry door. "I got the little Missy's tail, though," she said. She bent over and picked up Despereaux's tail and held it up, proudly displaying it to Cook. "So," shouted Cook, "what good will that do us when the rest of 'em has disappeared into the pantry?" "I don't know," said Meg, and she braced herself as Cook advanced upon her, intending to give her a good clout to the ear. "I don't know." And we will read chapter 35 tomorrow. You do have a handful of questions on Google Classroom about the past couple of chapters we've just read.